Alrighty, so this is Diesel We the People News. One more time at it. It's been a minute, so I had some things to do, and moving was part of the things I had to do. Alright, so we're back at it again. Probably gonna be a little shorter on videos, but this I'm going to show you a different direction that you may want to go by. Okay, and this is from a Commoner Law Group. And the short version of this guy's family members are bankers. And like in your traffic ticket, you know, it's tax court. And they ought to have some type of personnel for the magistrate for tax purposes. Okay. For like businesses, uh, to kind of go through there and pay their taxes and what they can knock off and this, that, here, and there. Well, the magistrates is the same way. So if they violate it, well, you call the IRS. Well, they don't care who you are. They'll go after a judge just the same, okay, as they will you or me. What else? So this is you can go and watch the whole video of this guy. A couple of videos, by the way. You had to probably look it up, and but this actually give you an idea what he is, what he talks about, if you want to check out the whole process on it. On this Commoner Law Group, this guy here that's showing is got a series of books. I think they're more of CDs, but they got the codes that you could go by and this, that, here, and there, and to be able to call them out. And you really don't sue the judge per se. You just get the IRS involved on them. Well, what you guys call judge, but they're magistrates. Okay. But I thought it was interesting. I have not done it. So, that being said, anytime, especially here in Texas, I know about, when you go in there and play no contest or not guilty, it's a civil matter. But once you play not guilty, it automatically goes into criminal. Why that is and how they did it, I have no idea. Okay? Somehow or another, government has magical powers. Okay? But for me, what I usually do is I scratch everything out and I put a box in there and I put on there presumed innocent, especially if I'm going to fight the ticket knowing it's going into criminal. Okay? They already violated your rights of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment during this traffic ticket because they put it under civil until you go into the magistrate and says, I'm going to go in basically in criminal. So, excuse me. I thought this was, again, interesting. And if you want to check it out, well, I'm giving you a little information to go there and check it out. Okay. I am Diesel for We the People News. I'm not an attorney, not giving legal advice. Educational purposes only. Do not misconstrue or misunderstand that I'm an attorney, because I'm not. Okay. That being said, use that Second Amendment. Arm yourself with knowledge. Okay. And how about proceeding forward on this? Oh, and just a second ago when I said presume innocent, they will tell you that you can't not do that. You must call them out. Are you acting as my attorney? Because my counsel told me to do it this way. Are you going against my counsel? All right. So, and I have used that way before I started using YouTube. But, all righty, let's go ahead and move on. Let's back up a little bit. Come back over here because I got a list on here. All right. Do I want this one first or do I want another one first? All right. Let's go ahead and go with this one first. Apologies.
I just don't mind that because they know you're not a bar attorney. You're not there to prove statutes or codes or case law. That's an argument for bar attorneys. Standing, okay? Standing, which party the opposition claims has the legal capacity to be charged? Is it the living man or is it the legal fiction estate and trust? We want him to tell us. I'm not going to argue statute and codes with it. I'm not going to traverse into those statutory codes where we know where they're getting their nonsense from, or Erie Railroad versus Tompkins or any of the case law that's screwing all this stuff up. We already know what they're doing wrong. So we just use simple language. And the judges don't mind that because they know you're not a bar attorney. You're not there to prove statutes or codes or case law. That's an argument for bar attorneys. Standing, okay? Standing, which party the opposition claims has the legal capacity to be charged? Is it the living man or is it the legal fiction estate and trust? We want him to tell us. I'm not going to argue statute and codes with it. I'm not going to traverse into those statutory codes where we know where they're getting their nonsense from, or Erie Railroad versus Tompkins or any of the case law that's screwing all this stuff up. We already know what they're doing wrong. So we just use simple language. And the judges don't mind that because they know you're not a bar attorney. You're not there to prove statutes or code.
All right, went a little too far on that one. Let's go with this one.
I really see the prosecutor little deers caught in the headlight when you start doing this to them because they don't know what to do. They're expecting you to argue with them over some type of technical violation in a statute or code or some type of case law or something, or the officer did this wrong or did that wrong. I'm not arguing anything. The judge is going to look at you and pause you and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here to settle the matter. Why is he arguing? Do you not want to get paid? Does the state not want to get paid? Does the state not want to close out the accounting on this case? I don't understand you. You'll literally see the prosecutor little deers caught in the headlight when you start doing this to them because they don't know what to do. They're expecting you to argue with them over some type of technical violation in a statute or code or some type. Rules of the court. First one is there's no money. Okay, I think everybody kind of gets that. The court obtains their in-res, their property jurisdiction with their bid performance and payment bond. That's the charging instrument. It's not the ticket that they give you, right? The ticket that they give you, they attach to the bid performance and payment bond because they think that the signature you put on your ticket is authorizing them to also make a bond. But if you look on the ticket anywhere, it doesn't say anything that they're opening another security with that, and they're using that as, the securitization instrument for it. They don't say that. That's not in the statutory code anywhere that they're doing that. This is the problem. And so if you start looking through your state-wide statutes, you'll see that identity theft or your tax record is a crime, right? Securities fraud is a crime. All these things that they're doing are actually crimes even at the state statutory level, and are crimes at the federal level. Okay? They just don't want people to know that that's what they're doing. Okay? So literally they're creating this money for the ticket out of thin air to gain what's called in rem or personal jurisdiction. When you show up in court and you enter the commercial zone, right? You admit that you're the legal fiction that they're talking about, and you don't do things like appear specially and not generally. Basic rules of the court. First one is there's no money. Okay, I think everybody kind of. I'm here to settle. I'm here to settle. I'm here to settle. You need the certified accounting and the charging instrument. That's the only way I'm going to know how much to pay. Because the reality is that they bring the certified accounting forward, they owe you recoupment. They owe you a set off and a refund. Because they've probably taken $40,000 to $50,000 from the Treasury Department, and your ticket may only be $200 or $500 or whatever it is. That's why they won't produce it. They owe you a refund. That's why we tell people, if the court really wants to start monkeying around with you, we have a notice motion of order to revoke and invest the trust. And, that gets denied every time, but then that's a move automatic to federal court to sue a judge for embezzlement. And then, Your Honor, I'm here to settle. I'm here to settle. I'm here to settle. You need the certified accounting and the charging instrument. That's the only way I'm going to know how much to pay. Because the reality is that they bring the certified accounting forward, they owe you recoupment. They owe you a set off and a refund. Because they've probably taken $40,000 to $50,000 from the Treasury Department, and your ticket may only be $200 or $500 or whatever it is. your ticket the right way. And, some states are doing electronic tickets now. I've heard in some states, and you don't sign it anymore. You automatically get it. I'm just like, that's not a valid contract. No signature says that no signature is allowed by statute. But think about what they're doing at the administrative level with the legislature. Oh, these people have figured out how to beat tickets, so we're going to say that you can get it even if you don't sign it. Right? It's still mandatory to appear. Even if you didn't sign the contract to appear, we're going to arrest you if you don't, because you have notice at the time of getting the ticket, even though you don't agree with it. So remember, it doesn't matter how you sign the ticket without prejudice, without recourse, or any of the codes that you may put on there. They're going to securitize it and sell it anyway. They're going to get jurisdiction because whoever the idiot is at the finance office and the administrative office that's processing these tickets, do you think they even have a clue what that means if you sign without prejudice on your ticket? Number one, they probably don't know. Number two, they probably don't care, right? And or they've been told by their boss to just process it anyways and throw them under the bus and court will get them anyways. If you're driving and they pulled over, please invoke your Fourth Amendment right to no search and seizure of your vehicle or your property, no looking in my car for anything, and your Fifth Amendment, and remain silent. They're there to collect information they will use against you in court. That's why I have those little video cameras on their chest and audio recording and stuff like that. So you sign your ticket the right way. Some states are doing electronic tickets now. I've heard in some states, and you don't sign it anymore. You automatically get it. I'm just like, that's not a valid contract. Get to a trial, because remember, the prosecutor is going to hear this recording from the investigator at some point, and the prosecutor is going to be, oh my God, he asked all the questions that we refused to answer, and he's going to be able to put that investigator on the stand because I have to put the investigator on the stand, and he's going to depose this person, he's going to perjure him on the stand, and our entire case is going to fall apart. These are your rights to ask these questions, to know what they're doing. Our forefathers that created the Constitution knew that they were creating a corporate-based constitution to do commerce. And so they understood that the states at some point were going to abuse the Constitution, and they were going to abuse your rights to know the nature of what the government was actually doing. Remember when we did the independence, it was all about taxation. And so the government's back into taxing us to death and creating bonds and taxes all over the place, and they won't tell us what they're doing. They're concealing the accounting, they're concealing the securities. This is all an intentional process. And so we've got, if you're really advanced, 20 things here that you could ask them. And so sometimes this just takes a little bit of practice, like having deputies around you and marshals and, being in a courtroom, and they're doing all kinds of stuff wrong. And they don't even know, because remember, they're not trained by the Bar Association properly. They're not trained by their chief or their captains properly, because in many cases, they don't know this either. I've actually yet to talk to a single police officer or sheriff in many, many years that even had a clue what the Sixth Amendment said, that they have to tell us the nature of the accusation. They're really good at telling you the cause or the probable cause, but they have no idea what the nature is, and they don't know how to answer that question. I'm just like, well, if you have a bachelor's or a master's in criminal justice and you've been trained by your officers and external certified training people, why didn't they put the Sixth Amendment in front of you and you could actually read for yourself that there's 2 questions to answer? They don't know. They don't know the answer to that question, because you have to remember, no court is going to ever disclose, no administrative court is ever going to disclose the nature of the accusation, because the entire system and the entire case falls apart as soon as they tell you that it's commercial, number one, under 27 CFR 72.11, and number two, they're not actually charging you necessarily as the living man or woman. They're charging your estate, because that's the only thing that has credit, and then they're creating a bond for it. They're not going to expose what they're doing in any case, because as soon as that is exposed in any case, every single case in the country falls apart. And everybody can use it.
Cellular aging may be happening faster than you think, and you can feel
Sorry
it.
about that.
Justify the people paying this $1 trillion bond back. Well, where did the credit come from to begin with? Oh, our minor account, it came from us. It already came from us. Why should we pay for this? I don't want to pay for that stuff. I don't agree with any of that. You guys aren't even giving me the option of protesting that bill you're signing into law, and we don't even get a chance to say no to that thing. Why should I have to pay for that thing? I don't want that. I don't use any of those services or products that you're purchasing. There should be some mechanism for us to stop what they're doing. But of course, they're saying that, well, you elected us, so now you have to do what we say. How are we going to justify the people paying this $1 trillion bond back? Well, where did the credit come from to begin with? Oh, our minor account, it came from us. It already came from us. Why should we pay for this? I don't want to pay for that stuff. I don't agree with any of that. You guys.
And that's under the code 1933 Bankruptcy Act. And this is where it all extends from.
Giving me the option of protesting that bill you're signing into law, and we don't even get a chance to say no to that thing. Why should I have to pay for that thing? I don't want that. I don't use any of those services or products that you're purchasing. There should be some mechanism for us to stop what they're doing. But of course, they're saying that, well, you elected us, so that.
Anyway, there's a little bit of pieces if you want to go to Common Law Group and check out the whole video on him. I don't know how far back that is when you do get on there, but there you go. Diesel We the People News. Always just look around you. Never just look straight forward, okay? We become creature of habits and just comply. Oh, this is the law, and we take it by face value, okay? Quit taking it by face value and just look around, okay? Why is this the case? How come you can do this? What's the justification involved in this? Diesel We the People News. Bye, y'all.